So I was on TikTok just scrolling as you do, and then I came across this video and it said how a few of the K-pop idols are Australian, and that tripped me out. I didn't realize that would happen. So I was like looking into it, and came across the Stray Kids, which are apparently one of the more popular ones. Like recent times, they're quite popular. I think they came out 2017 or 2018, and apparently two of them are from Australia. I think one's Felix and the other one is Chris or Bangchan. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I looked them up, and they're like their Aussie accents are so strong. I think Felix was actually born in Australia. I think Chris might have been born in Korea, South Korea, but then moved to Australia when he was young and lived here most of his life. So he definitely still has the accent. But then when I was like noticing their accent, I'm like, why does it? It just sounds like an accent that's from Sydney. Like, not only are they from Australia, but I think they might be from Sydney. And so I looked it up, and it was shocked me. I realized that Felix grew up in Seven Hills, which is like down the road from where I lived. So that just tripped me out. I just always thought, like, as someone who isn't into K-pop, well, I mean, K-pop music is fun, don't get me wrong. Like BLACKPINK, I like a few of their songs, BTS, obviously they're the main ones. And, since I looked up Stray Kids, I've looked up a few of their songs. And I think every single one of their songs I've heard sounds cool, and really cool music videos. They dance really well. So, I'm not someone who's against K-pop. I think it's actually fun. But I wasn't into it enough to know that K-pop idols could be from outside of Australia. Like, once you go down the rabbit hole, you're like, oh, there's a lot from other countries. Did I say Australia? I hope I said South Korea. If I didn't, I meant South Korea. But yeah, like a lot are from Canada. You got some from America, Thailand, I think Philippines as well. Like, even, what is it called? Blackpink. I think only one of the four is from South Korea. One's from Australia. I think I'm not sure how you say her name. Is it Rose, or Rosie? I'm not sure, because I know she has that little, like, what do you call it, hyphen or something on the name, on her on the E. But she grew up in Melbourne, but I think she's from New Zealand. And then I think one of them's Filipino, and one's from Thailand, I think, and then was born in South Korea. I think so. I can't exactly remember, because I looked that up afterwards as well. But yeah, back to the other guys, back to Stray Kids. Yeah, I found out that Felix grew up in Seven Hills, which, yeah, like, was maybe a 20-minute drive where I lived. So that just tripped me out, because I was like, what the hell? Like, these famous, extremely famous, global famous now. K-pop isn't just big in Korea. It's like global. It's all around the world. And their fans, like, they have so many fans around the world. Like, apparently they just recently did a tour and sold out stadiums all over the world, which is crazy. And it just tripped me out that one of them grew up in Seven Hills. And then to make just even more crazy to me was Chris Bangchan grew up. Well, he moved around apparently, but he lived a lot of his life in Greenacre, which is literally 5 minutes from where I lived. It's just crazy. But he's the leader of the group, because in K-pop, apparently, I think it's again, I could be getting a lot of this wrong, because it's only from what I've read recently, but I think it's the eldest usually is the leader, or the person who, like, was the first member chosen in the group. Because I think I don't know if this is always the case, but it seems like to me they do, like, these shows. Like, Stray Kids started from a show where it's like a lot of people, like a lot of the guys start off and it's like a competition, and then, they get eliminated and stuff. And I think they started off as 8, but then one of the members left for some reason. And, 9. They started off as 9, one member left, and then they were 8. And I can't tell you all the names of the members, I'm not going to lie. I know, the funny thing is, when I was looking them up, the only one that actually looked familiar to me was, I think his name's, I'm probably going to say this wrong, I think it's Hyunjin, or Hyunjin. I don't know how, I'm not sure, like, it's spelled a way that's hard for me to say, so I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. But he looked familiar because of when he was with Troye Sivan at some, like, gig or something. They were, like, sitting on some chairs, and then there was this whole thing going on with Troye Sivan trying to flirt with him or something. So, like, because I listened to Troye Sivan, and follow Troye Sivan on social media. So yeah, I recognized Hyunjin, I think it's how you say it, or Hyunjin. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. I recognized him from those videos in that time. And I remember being like, oh, he's a good looking guy, like, haha, whatever. But I didn't like overthink it. I knew he was just someone from K-pop. So seeing him now that he's part of Stray Kids was interesting. Like, that was like, oh, I do know something about this band. But yeah, really interesting. And then, if I even started going down, like, once you get down the rabbit hole, like, of how, like, there's so many rules they have to follow and stuff. Like, they can't swear, they can't listen to music that's swearing, they can't be inappropriate. Like, there's a lot of, like, respect involved. I don't know if this is true, but, like, the youngest member in the group can't eat first. Yet they have to wait for the oldest member to eat first. I don't know if that's a strict rule, but I was hearing something. And just the way they create the groups, and then it's very interesting because they do these things where they'll sell albums, and then they'll do, like, one-on-one phone calls with fans. Like, that fascinated me because they're these global superstars, but they're doing these one-on-one fan calls with their fans. Like, I can't even imagine someone like Rihanna or Beyonce doing that. So I just thought that was so interesting and really cool. Like, and then some of them will do meet and greets after the concerts and stuff. I think that was a different group that did that. I don't know if Stray Kids did that. I just was like, once you get down the rabbit hole, you start on one thing, and then you start you start seeing other videos, like, of other groups. But yeah, it's just really interesting. Like, yeah, they do all and like the groups that aren't as popular, they actually have, like, things where they meet up with fans a lot more often. I think once they get maybe too famous, like a lot more famous, they do it less. I could be wrong. I just got that from, it seems like when they're starting off, because it sounds like they debut, and then they've got to, like, really sell themselves at the beginning and get fans on board. I think that's what makes, like, how they decide, their managers and stuff, the companies that they work for decide if they're going to stay or if they'll disband. And then I think it's interesting. I think if they disband, what happens is then they go back into the competition and they might debut with a new group. It's just so fascinating. Like, it's so different from, like, Western music and stuff, and in that kind of world. Yeah, K-pop is really, it's a lot more interesting than you think if you never stop to, like, do your research and stuff. Yeah, this all started from finding out that two of them were Australian, and and I should say, Felix, like, maybe a few years ago, there was one of their songs. I don't know if it's actually called Maniac, but it has the word Maniac in it. And I remember, like, I was scrolling on TikTok, and I came across Felix's part in that song because his voice was very deep. But again, I didn't do any research to realize he was an Australian, but I remember thinking, oh wow, his voice is really deep. And he was like, Maniac. So yeah, I had seen Felix before as well, but again, I didn't, like, look further into it back then. I just was like, I recognize him from that when I started looking him up. And the whole time I didn't realize he was Australian. I just thought he was somewhat, a K-pop star in a K-pop group that was born, in South Korea. I just assumed they all were. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. So I thought I'd make a video about the little knowledge I have on K-pop. Thanks for watching if anyone sees this.